run the show for Leicester to win them the league, and he's run the show for Chelsea to get them in the top 4. Small little guy, great character, supposed to be a lovely guy as well. So they haven't brought in, they got rid of people in the last 5, 6, 7 years, like Ian Robben to Bayern Munich and top players. They've kept their nucleus, like Aspilicueta, and they brought in Mendy as a keeper because Kepa was flapping a bit. But for me, they've had a cracking season when they haven't invested much. So if they can invest something now to go on to push forward with the league as well as the Champions League next year, they could be title contenders.
Yeah, definitely. I think they only bought 2 or 3 over the summer because Thiago Silva was a free signing, so you just pay him wages from there. Werner's been, Timo Werner, a bit like Raheem Sterling. He can't hit a barn door with a bazooka, so don't really know what he's going to do from there. He did seem to play quite well as a winger in the Champions League final. Or I know everyone talks about how really good City's front three is like a fluid unit has been. Same with Liverpool over the past couple of years, but look at how Chelsea played. I think it was Mount, Werner and Havertz. They started with those 3 were fantastic. But like you said, they've got that nucleus of players, and also they're developing the young lads coming through as well. Mason Mount, I just said about, spent a year with Lampard at Derby, but then he was basically straight in the first team. There's what's the right back called, Reece James as well. I thought he was brilliant on the Champions League final night. Sterling didn't have a great game, but he kept him quiet anyway. Some really good interceptions. I think he was looked a bit nervous to start off with. He would be if you're a 23, 24-year-old lad starting in a Champions League final, but he really grew into the game, didn't let the occasion get the better of him or anything. What you want from a wing back. You want him to be solid at the back and break forward. It's exactly what he was doing. I think Havertz as well. He's when he's not been injured and he's not been suffering from long COVID, which is quite unfortunate in your first season in England, I think he's been fantastic. It was a Carabao Cup game, and I think it was a Championship team or maybe even a League One team. He scored a hat-trick in one of his first few games.
Yeah.
He's, he got the winning goal on Saturday night as well. I think that was actually his first Champions League goal, but he did score quite a few last season in the Bundesliga when he was at Leverkusen, because everyone was raving about how good he was. Such good technical ability with the ball. Looks like quite a skinny lad as well. Sort of not short, but sort of a bit lean, but he seems quite strong on the ball. Doesn't get rolled over constantly like a few players coming into the league. Technically gifted, cracking left foot as well. Really good composure with the finish around Ederson as well on Saturday night. But yeah, I think Chelsea have done really well, especially Thomas Tuchel coming in. I think, like we've said on previous episodes, with players taking over as manager, Lampard, he's been a player. He knows the day-to-day workings of a football club because he's lived it for 20 years, but he still needs to learn how to set a team up tactically for a different situation or for a final, or how to balance a sort of squad for a couple of games in a run. They've been able to do that with Thomas Tuchel, and when it's come crunch to these big games, I think he's beaten Guardiola in all three matches that he's faced in this season. So that's a good record to have. He knows how to set his side up to get a decent result, and proofs in the pudding on Saturday night when they won. I thought Chelsea were very good value for the win. City threw the kitchen sink at him in the last 10 minutes as well, didn't they? It was long throw-ins into the box. Big Sam would have been proud of that Route 1 footballer, I have to say. It's quite reminiscent of how the last 10 minutes of the Wales-Italy game are going to go, where we're trying to lump it up to Kiefer Moore. But yeah, I thought Chelsea were excellent value for their win. But it's a bit of a weird statistic that both years they've won the Champions League, they've sacked the manager mid-season, and the manager that's come in has gone on to take them to Champions League final and win it ultimately. So that's maybe Abramovich needs to get his P45 out more often mid-season too. We don't want to encourage him, do we?
No, I was going to say he gets it out quite often, that P45. I think Havertz was a very good signing. He had a great start, but then he got COVID, and then for like the 3 or 4 months period he was quiet. And yeah, he'll be a very good one for next season. Billy Gilmore, who was injured for like nearly a whole season, he's just started coming back and played the odd game middle to the end of the season. He was unbelievable the season before. So if he's backfiring as well with, the nucleus that they've got there.
He's going to the Euros, I think, as well. They've named it in their squad for
Scotland, isn't it? Scotland, yeah. So it'll be interesting with them because Werner, he makes all the good runs. He's lightning fast, and he's hit the post that many times. He's got offside rules so many times. I just think that he just needs a break. He needs a break where he can bang in a couple of goals. If he gets a run of 2 or 3 games and scores, I think he'll be unbelievable. But it's a confidence thing with him. When you don't score, then you don't score again, and then that 2 games turns into 5, turns into 8. Then it's like, oh Christ, is he ever going to score? That's his problem. So if he can start next season with a bang, I have no idea who they're playing in the first 2 or 3 games, but once they just get a run of 2 or 3 games, and he could be scoring 30 goals in a season because he makes the right runs. He's quite quick enough. He gets into the right positions, but he's just been really unlucky. So you've got to stick with, class is permanent, form is temporary. And I just think that's a perfect analogy for him. He's very good, with Germany. And I just think he's a great player. And, on the whole, they've had a cracking season, 3rd in the league, final of the FA Cup. Obviously unlucky to lose against a very good Leicester side on the day. That offside goal, right at the end of time could have changed it for them. And then winning the ultimate, winning the Champions League on a season really where they've been on and off. As you said earlier on, they lost 5-2 against West Brom. You look at some of their games last season that they'd lost. They've had a cracking, statistically looking at their season in black and white at the end of the season, 3rd in the league, Champions League winners, FA Cup final. You'd be like, that's a brilliant season. So Abramovich is going to be happy. And I presume when he's happy, he's going to sign his name to a few checks in the summer. I think Tuchel didn't even know he was going to be there this season. His contract was only to the end of the season. So I think he said to Abramovich after the game that I guess I'm going to be here next season. So if he is, which there's no reason why he shouldn't be.